The C5 Corvette is an incredible sports car bargain under $20,000. However, the interior does feel quite dated, but there is a great modification that can make it feel relatively modern. Starting off with what you engage with most, the steering wheel itself. Now there's a lot of accessories out there and things that you can do to customize the interior of your C5 Corvette. Like this steering wheel wrap, for example. You know, it looks nice and it feels premium, but the C5 Corvette, let's face it, isn't up to the highest tier of build quality. So for that reason, the steering wheel wrap doesn't sit in place the way that it's supposed to. It would work on plenty of other cars, but not really super well in the C5 Corvette. However, there's an even better solution. Straight from Zen carbon fiber, they create whatever steering wheel that you can come up with. From designs, materials, if you want a flat top, if you want a flat bottom, if you want perforated leather, if you want smooth leather, even Alcantara, any kind of carbon fiber you want, they will build it in-house and ship it straight to you. So let's go ahead and show you how to install it. A bit of my interior is taken apart right now for another project, but don't mind that. Just put your key in the ignition and flip the accessory on. Once you do that, let's just make sure the steering wheel is unlocked. And once you do that, simply pop the hood, grab yourself a 5/16 wrench, and go ahead and undo your negative battery terminal and take that off. Next up is to go ahead and remove two T30s. There's one on each side. We're gonna go ahead and spin the wheel about this way, and then we're gonna let it tilt up. And we're gonna take our T30 and go right in through the back here and remove it just like this. Should look something just like this when you take it out. And once you get it out, we're gonna spin the wheel the opposite way and then remove the other side. Now that we got those two screws out of the back, let's just straighten out that wheel. Should be able to nicely pull out this airbag. Should not be of concern whatsoever since we do have that battery disconnected. All we're gonna do is there's this little yellow tab right on the back. We're gonna pull up this yellow tab, just like so, and we're gonna pull up right in the middle, just like that. Now we have that removed. Now we're gonna move right up here. See these red and black wires? They're gonna run inside of here. We're gonna push this inward and we're gonna twist and then we're just gonna nicely pull out. So it's as easy as that. And it works the same way to go back in once we're ready to do so. And then for the black line, once we do have that little spring out, we just come right here and you just pull it right off of this little ground. Should be as easy as that. Airbag is out of the car. Now we just got ourselves a 21 socket here and we're going to remove the bolt right in the center of the steering wheel. Pretty dang easy. Just take this out all the way and be sure not to lose this because we will be using it again. We are going to remove these 4 gold bolts that are holding on these clips that actually hold the airbag onto the steering wheel itself. We will have to transfer these onto the new steering wheel. So just tighten down these 7 mils and we should be good to go. And then we're going to take our 3-prong puller and get it behind the actual steering wheel itself. So you have to play around with the cover and you have to play around at the back of the steering wheel to get the kind of claws of this 3-prong puller right behind it. The steering wheel did not want to come off. We tried removing it, almost died twice, and at one point we had over 500 pound-feet of torque on a 3-prong puller, which felt less like mechanic work and more like a bad decision. So we did the responsible thing. We soaked it in PB Blaster overnight for over 24 hours, and then today happened. Which brings us to today, where we are at the exact same spot that we were yesterday. After sitting over 24 hours, the 3-prong puller still cannot manage to get this thing off. So rather than almost kill ourselves yet again, we decided to do the reasonable thing, and we went and rented a different design of puller from AutoZone. You can pick one of these up, you can rent it for a day, it costs 70 bucks. As long as you return it within 90 days, you get all your money back. It came off in less than 10 minutes. Go rent this puller. It goes on just like this. It's super easy. And then you just pull the thing right on off. We had no issues with it when we did it that way. A lot of people recommend using heat, but I do not recommend doing that because of the excessive amount of plastic around here. All right, enough talk about how to get the steering wheel off. It's finally done. Let's go ahead and show off that new wheel. We also need to transfer over this back cover. But before we do that, I want to explain why it makes sense to purchase a wheel from Zen Carbon Fiber versus trying to do a steering wheel wrap like I previously had on the car. Now the C5 really has these large panel gaps around the airbag. As you can see, this is supposed to kind of sit behind that airbag gap and it's supposed to do the same around the back. But look, the gaps on the C5, let's be fair, they're not like most modern cars. There's a super big gap, so these areas hang out and they don't precisely fit under some of those gaps around the steering wheel, so you end up getting play and just parts that won't completely close themselves off under the steering wheel. That's why I highly recommend going with an actual steering wheel replacement. As you can see, look at the gaps with that rear cover back on the steering wheel. Absolutely flawless fitment from Zen carbon fiber. And now that carbon fiber on that steering wheel can match the exterior if you did a carbon wide body. Looks so good. Now to get the new steering wheel back in, it's so much easier than taking it back apart. To start, we just take this little cluster here and we snap it right back together. It's very easy to do. Then we're going to take the new wheel. We'll feed that wire for the airbag straight through the bottom, same way it came out of the old one. And then we're just going to line it up on this shaft here. It can literally only go on one way, so you cannot screw this up. So once you get on that shaft, you just go ahead and kind of press it inwards, and then we're going to take the nuts that we used previously, and we're going to put it right on top of there, and we're going to tighten it to about 30 foot-pounds. And we're good to go. But now it's time to put the airbag back in. However, there's another step to this that I think you guys are going to really enjoy and benefit from. Now, the C5 Corvette's airbag is known to get all scratchy, get gross, get sticky. And today we're going to be fixing that without having to buy a new replacement airbag or airbag cover. We're simply going to be using some lemon ammonia, a microfiber rag, and a whole lot of breath holding. I can't believe how well that worked. I now have a brand new looking airbag cover. Let's get it inside of that steering wheel. And reinstalling it is just as easy as it was to take it out in the first place. You're just gonna put this little negative ground right onto there. We'll put this guy right into that airbag again. Just press it down in the center, then lock the clip. Then we take that little spring, we'll press it in and twist, just like we did before. And once we have all those set, I'm just gonna nicely set the airbag cover right back on like this, and then we're going to rotate the wheel and tighten those two T25s right on the back. There is a lot of stuff in the works on this C5. I'm very excited to say that this is going to be one of the test cars for the all-new full digital infotainment screen, and that's going to be coming relatively soon here to the channel. And I just got done tearing apart this entire car, and it's going to be faster than it ever has been this coming summer. So be sure to hit like and subscribe so you can check those out. I am really happy with that carbon fiber steering wheel from Zen Carbon Fiber. They're a great company to work with. You can spec your steering wheel however you like, and be sure to check out the link down in the description below if you would like to order one from them as well. I do highly recommend running to your local AutoZone and renting this steering wheel puller that is on the screen now. This made the job an absolute breeze. It's really easy to use, and it really just made all of the stress and frustration that we had trying to get that thing out for 3 hours go away relatively quickly. So go do yourself a favor, rent this thing, and get yourself a carbon fiber steering wheel because it completely changed the feel behind the wheel. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Can't wait to see you next time.